The relics have become the driving force of the RWBY series, and with us heading to Atlas in Volume 7, there's a new relic poised to take center stage, the Relic of Creation, along with the Relic of Knowledge that Team RWBY already has. And with the potential introduction of the Relic of Creation, and its powers maybe being revealed, there's some discussion around it as to whether the Relic of Creation could be used to revive Pyrrhas. Now, before we go into discussing about the possibilities and implications of Pyrrhas' return, let's first go over what the Relic of Creation might actually be capable of. Now, as for the relic itself, we don't know that much about it. We know that it's going to be a scepter in the physical world and that its power is going to be creation, hence the name Relic of Creation. Beyond that, we don't know anything about it, though possibly it's, very powerful, considering it might have been used by the King of Vale back in the Great War, considering he went into battle with sword and scepter in hand and pretty much single-handedly, at least from the history books, brought the war to a close. So it makes sense that it was a previous incarnation of Ozpin wielding the Sword of Destruction and the Scepter of Creation. So yeah, it's got some power in it, as of course all the relics do. As for its actual powers, however, since we don't know anything about it, we'll just use the Relic of Knowledge as kind of a basis for our assumptions. Now, if there are specific rules pertaining to each relic individually, like how many things can be asked to the Relic of Knowledge versus how many things can be created with the Relic of Creation, then if there's specific instances for each relic, then this could probably be thrown out the window, but we're going to assume it's similar to the Relic of Knowledge in this case. Now, there's probably going to be a spear inside this scepter, similar to Jinn being the Genie of the Lamp. Her name being a play on Genie of the Lamp means that the spirits within the other relics are probably going to be a play on whatever item they are held within. I really don't know what the spirit of the scepter is going to be called, but feel free to let me know down in the comments below if you have any ideas. I'd be interested in hearing what you guys come up with. But the powers of the Relic of Creation. The Relic of Knowledge can have 3 questions asked to it every 100 years. We don't know the actual time frame of these 100 years, whether it's 100 years from the first question being asked, whether it's 100 years from the last question being asked, or whether it's just a 100-year time frame. Use the 3 questions within those 100 years. It's going to reset no matter what. Hopefully we'll find out at some point. I kind of have my doubts as to whether we will, but anyways, 3 questions. That's what can be asked to the Relic of Knowledge, but they are not limitless. Jinn gives the specifications that you can ask her anything as long as it's not pertaining to the future. In other words, you can only gain knowledge that has previously existed in Remnant. You can only have knowledge that the mortals of Remnant might have potential to have had or do have at one point, if that makes sense. You can only have knowledge that has currently existed within Remnant at some point. Now, if we translate that over to the Relic of Creation, we can say, well, maybe we can create 3 things every 100 years. Again, don't exactly know how the time frame works, but there will be limitations put on it. If we translate those similar limitations over, you can only create something that currently exists or has existed at one point in the world of Remnant. Meaning, you're not going to be able to create a new element on the periodic table, create a new metal that is going to be harder than any other steel or metal used to make weapons that is known in the world of Remnant, or create a new type of dust that's going to be more explosive and powerful than any other dust that exists within the world of Remnant, or potentially be able to create a new mineral that's a kryptonite to Grimm, so they are just powerless around you. Things like that are not going to be possible with the Relic of Creation. At least, I wouldn't think they would be. But you can create anything that has existed or does exist currently. Now, when we're talking about creating or recreating a person, I have no doubt that the physical body could easily be recreated. No doubt in my mind. The physical elements exist within the world of Remnant. You'd be able to recreate the body, no problem. The issue arises when we start talking about the soul. We don't actually know or have a strict definition as to what a soul is in the world of Remnant. All we have is actually really what Pyrrhas said back in Volume 1, whereas the aura is the physical manifestation of one's soul, and then by extension so is the semblance. So the aura is the physical manifestation, implying that the soul is something ethereal. We've seen that the soul can kind of be manifested into the physical form through aura, and also that a person's aura can be stripped off and transferred to someone else, as we saw at the end of Volume 3, and that would potentially alter a person's personality, alter their soul and who they are. So that kind of tells me that the soul can be pulled into a physical form. Also, with Penny and her existence, well, her existing in the first place, and being able to generate an aura. She has stated herself that she is the first artificial human able of generating an aura. Does that mean that somehow they were able to create a new soul for Penny? Because if that was the case, then they might have found a way to artificially create a soul that is in a physical form and give it to Penny, so then she can then generate an aura. If that's the case, and the soul does have physical properties, which with it being able to generate an aura, I think is safe to say, then it might be possible to recreate a soul or an aura to give to this artificial human or this human that you bring back or create with the Relic of Creation. However, the specific soul of the person, I don't know if that's actually possible. I would honestly say the Relic of Creation does not have the power to bring back Pyrrha's soul if it has moved on to the afterlife, which we know exists, considering the God of Light did bring Ozma there to, give him the option of returning and going back to Salem and trying to put her on the right path, gave him the relics, etc. But I say that if Pyrrha's soul has moved on to the afterlife. I already made a theory video earlier about the Maiden with Two Souls, that since the Fall Maiden's power did come in contact with Pyrrha for that briefest of moments at the end of Volume 3, when Cinder did kill Pyrrha, that maybe when Pyrrha had some of the Fall Maiden's power at that point, and then it transferred to Cinder, bringing with it a portion of Pyrrha's soul, meaning that some of Pyrrha's soul might exist within the world. Theory video I made before had it that Cinder is now the Maiden with Two Souls, that Pyrrha's soul is still within Cinder, and that would still be an interesting line to take. However, if it's even just a portion of Pyrrha's soul, that a fraction of it is still attached to the Fall Maiden's powers, then maybe if they were able to bring back Pyrrha's body through the Relic of Creation, then if they were somehow to kill Cinder, the Fall Maiden's power following its course to the next one to inherit it might be that body, might be Pyrrha, and might bring her back in that instance. Personally, I do want to see Pyrrha come back. I think that the series would benefit from having her back in it. She's a fan favorite character who, when she was around in Volumes 1 to 3, we didn't really explore that much. And I think her character has a lot of room to grow should she come back. Not to mention, I think by the end of the series, all four maidens are going to be joining the battle against Salem. And this would be a good way to have the Fall Maiden brought back and join Team RWBY in the fight against Salem. Then there's always, when someone is brought back from the dead, the implication that, well, death is no longer permanent. Death no longer has meaning within the series. I mean, look at Dragon Ball, for example. In the Dragon Ball universe, when someone dies, they can just use the Dragon Balls to bring them back. And everyone knows it. So death no longer holds that same meaning or the emotional weight that it should. That definitely wouldn't be the case in RWBY. Death would still be very permanent. Pyrrha would just be an exception. And also something that no one in the RWBY series would really expect. When Pyrrha did pass away, no one really knew about the relics. No one knew about the gods themselves. No one knew about all these other things. The growth and emotions that the characters experienced because of her death would still remain. It's not like everything would be reverted by having her go back or brought back to life. So I think it would be a good thing to have Pyrrha returned. The Relic of Creation, I don't think holds that power in and of itself to be able to revive a person and bring a person's soul back from the afterlife, but in the case of Pyrrha, I think it might be possible because of the Fall Maiden's powers and the potential that her soul might be attached to it in some way. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think that Pyrrha will return? Do you think it's possible that the Relic of Creation could bring her back? And also, do you want Pyrrha back? There's a lot who do and some who don't, but with that, I do want to say be civil about it, respect each other. We're all a fan of the same series here. No need to get nasty with any of your comments or replying to other people's comments on top of that. And do you think that the Relic of Creation is going to have the powers I described, or do you have different ideas for the Relic of Creation? Let me know down in the comments below. I really look forward to hearing your thoughts and discussing with you about what the potential for the Relic of Creation has. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. There will be more videos, more theories coming before Volume 7, as there's quite a few things I want to get out there before the volume airs, so make sure to subscribe so you can see more. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.